Hello, and welcome to Connecting You to You Radio, where we tune in to receive the messages of health and well being that are being broadcast from the soul. I'm your host, Lisa Warner, author of The Simplicity of Self Healing. I show you how to heal your body naturally by combining your body's innate intelligence with the wisdom of your own soul so that you can break through the mental programming of limiting beliefs that cause disease and make healing your body and changing your life simple. Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to Soul Stories, because every soul has a story. And today we are here with the most beautiful soul, an ambassador of happiness, always with a radiant smile on her face, my good friend, Deb King. I'm so
Yay!
happy to have you here today, Deb. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Lisa. I always love connecting with you, and thank you for wanting to chat about my story. It's something I don't do a lot of, so it's a fun little, almost an adventure, I would say.
Exactly. This idea came to me, I don't know, a few months ago. And I just thought, oh, that would be really interesting because, I always hear people talking about, I don't know, kind of like trying to cover up, some of their past and I just realized we all have the same story, basically, as humanity. We are these grand beings of light. We come here to Earth, and then, like, we get knocked around here on this planet. And then we all have these traumas and we try to live our life and cover up. And it's like, if we all just told our stories, we'd all realize we're more similar than we are different. And there's nothing to hide and we can just shine. So why not? Let's do it. So thank you for agreeing to come on this adventure and share your story with everyone.
Oh, thank you. And I think you're absolutely right. We are all humans with immense potential and capabilities that we're not even touching or tapping into yet.
Mhm.
And we let the human experience kind of knock us around, judge ourselves, judge each other, and I think if we can transcend that and love ourselves more and love each other more, so much magic can happen. And realize that we're not meant to be good at everything. We can be focused more on what we do get joy and passion from, and connect with others that get passion and joy from other things, and collaborate more and co-create magic together. And so yes, sharing stories is a beautiful thing that I actually would love to get better at. I think it's a skill. I think it's very powerful, and yeah, I love that you're doing this series. So well done, Lisa. You rock.
Awesome. So, Deb, what's your story? Tell us about yourself.
What is my story? Okay. Well, I think like everyone, we have many stories. I mean, I'm 51 years old as of right now, and so yeah, how much we can share in a short space of time. What I would say is I have this passion and drive to spread love and well-being globally. And so when I reflect on my life, I look back and go, wow, it's sort of been all the whole time. That's sort of what I've been wanting, and all the different experiences have developed different strengths in how I can contribute in that space. So yeah, I was born and raised in Sydney, Australia, the other side of the world to you. Um,
I love hearing what it's like in other countries growing up.
You'll have to come visit.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I was very fortunate with having two loving parents, one sister who's 2 years younger than me, and also my mum's parents. So I had a lot of time with my grandparents as well, which I think they all had such an influence on me, probably particularly my grandpa. He was such a beautiful soul who, anytime you asked him how he was, he would say, never seen it brighter. And he just he just really, I think, inspired me in terms of how um, present and appreciative he was of things, and just a really cool, humble dude. And
Nice.
some of the things I didn't understand, he would get up really early in the morning, and it wasn't until more recent years that I've actually gone, yeah, it is the best time of the morning. At the time when he told me that, I didn't really buy it.
Mhm. Right.
But as we speak right now, this morning I got up for a before sunrise walk and a dip in the ocean as the sun was coming up. And honestly, I just feel so genuinely happy from doing that. And it's so invigorating. And today happens to be, as we're recording right now, International Day of Happiness, which I resonate with, being a happiness ambassador. And yeah, so my life has been a happiness inquiry. I think when I was super young, I was very sensitive, oversensitive, didn't know how to handle it, and just then squashed all that for years, like many, many, many years. That was a lot from like I would eat more than I needed. Also, I was also told eat everything on your plate because there's starving kids in Africa.
Right. Mm.
It's like,
Like, send it to them here, they can
yeah.
have it.
Which is now like it's such an interesting thing, the whole world of consumption. I think because grandparents and parents and people of a generation before me didn't have as much abundance and overconsumption of things, and also um, there was a bit more whole food, a bit more like there just wasn't the same access to what we have now, and all the different things that we can, the processed foods and all the things and all the fast food and all that, like it's a very different world now. And I think that meant, even actually at uni, when I went to uni, we had the motto go hard or go home, meaning get as drunk as you can. If you're not getting so drunk, you're not supposed to be here, sort of thing. So it was like this constant message of overdo it, do not listen to your body, do not like kind of be be tuned into that in a way, and just kind of push it. So yeah, it was really interesting when I think about that. But yeah, so I was very lucky anyway. In general, had a great upbringing. However, I was very hard on myself. I was trying to be perfect. I would doubt myself and worry about what I'd said. I'd like really make it a big deal in my head. So I lived in my head a lot and was not connected with my body. And that was what's going on internally. Externally, I did sport. My parents both had their own business. We got to travel, and that gave me the travel bug. So also, my mum and my aunt had traveled when they were young, where they'd gone to the UK and Canada and lived there, and I'd heard those stories, and that always intrigued me. So I had this. Plus, I am such a variety seeker. I never wanted to get up, go to work, come home, get up, go to work, come home. That was never going to be me. So I always chose unconventional career paths. And I liked seeing people have fun. So I was a lot of hospitality, and um, did a marketing degree. I did commerce. I didn't know what else to do, but I thought business makes sense. And then marketing seemed the most fun part of it. But and then I actually ended up going to London to work, or to live really, for 6 years. I went there, and I worked in record companies and nightclubs and partied my butt off. My life was over. All it was partying, and to the extreme. It was.
Wow.
But eventually, I realized I like partying, but it's not really fulfilling me now. And there's maybe other things to do. And that's when I started the journey to look within. This was in, hmm, well, it was over a couple of years, but by 2003, I decided things happened, decided to come back to Sydney, and then did my very first life coaching course, and that started my whole real deep dive into personal development, spiritual development, entrepreneurial development, all the developments. And then has been a big journey of amazing learning. I love to learn. A lot of yeah, a lot of things have happened in terms of my own career as a coach. I actually thought it would be easy to get clients when I first had a business. That was a rude shock. Even though I had a marketing degree and I was great at sales for selling other people, I was crap at marketing and selling myself. And
You're right.
plus the whole journey of like money has been the biggest classroom for me this lifetime. So the challenge of receiving, which all comes back to I just didn't love myself. I wasn't feeling worthy. And so it's been a real mission to understand how to love myself and genuinely be happy and really give myself what I truly like want, even needs, understanding needs and understanding all the things. Anyway, so we get to 2020. I was going to follow my dream to live in Hawaii, arranged a retreat for women in April 2020, and the world stopped traveling in March. So that didn't get to happen. Stayed in Sydney and then ended up creating a business with an amazing business partner who you know, Gabby Button. And we created the Wisdom Playground, which has turned into Coach Training Campus. And we just are, it feels like have such clarity on spreading love and well-being through collaboration, supporting coaches who and healers and people who have wisdom to uplift humanity, helping those who help others, help them thrive in their business, and also with additional kind of revenue streams and other aligned complementary products, health products, all the things. So that's sort of the big arc of Deb's life. The story. There we go.
Wow. So what was it what was it like growing up in Australia, in Sydney? What's it like in Sydney?
What's it like? Well, um, one of the beautiful things about Sydney is it is a very beautiful Sydney, a beautiful city. We have a Sydney harbour, which has, and we have a lot of waterways. We have a lot of beaches. And I am of a real love of the ocean. I feel it's my happy place. So I think people who grow up in Sydney, not everyone is into the water, but certainly I am. I have really good friends here. However, I think Sydney as a city is probably quite pretentious. And I think if you came here as someone that doesn't know anyone, potentially it would be hard to make friends. I don't know. I find that sometimes when you go live somewhere else, it can take a while to really, as an adult, get into living somewhere. I mean, I feel like London's my second home because I still have friends there from when I worked there, but and lived there. But yeah, Sydney has a lot to offer. Um, there's so many things that you can do. Beautiful walks, which I love doing. There's entertainment and things like that. For me, when I was younger, it didn't. I would party. I was a real party animal. I did a lot of partying, but it still felt not what I really wanted. That's why London was so great because London's a whole nother level in terms of size of population, amazing for all different types of music and like just the vibe and the culture. I don't know, there's just a whole nother level that London has, but then London does not have very good weather. London, London compared to Sydney. um, but like I missed when I was in London. I missed friends and family, but it was the difference between the cities is for me was the ocean. So yeah, what's it like? I mean, I don't know if that kind of what's it like for me. I can answer. What's it
Yeah,
like?
exactly. Like
Yeah,
what
it's
was it
like
like for you growing up there?
I think it was good. I mean, I played sport. I did softball and netball and tennis, and I had friends, and I had opportunities. My mum and with mum and dad having their own business, they worked a lot, which probably also kind of, I remember one time when I was really little, this vision of holding onto my dad's leg, not wanting him to go to work because
Oh,
I like, it was like, I just want to have fun. That's what I wanted. But
right?
which is partly why I probably had an interesting relationship with money because it's like, oh, I don't want to work anyway. Um,
Yes.
in terms of uh, growing up, we had a boat, and that was really nice. So our holidays, we would go on the boat somewhere, raft up with other people with boats, and have a really nice time on the water. So that was pretty special. Yeah, other people would probably, maybe there's people that go camping and different parts, different things. So yeah, I think Australia has a lot to offer. It's a massive country. It's the size of the US pretty much, but with very small population and very few cities compared to. So there's like, if you want to travel from everywhere's kind of a long haul flight from here, everywhere within Australia can take quite a while, where you could be in Europe and travel through a few countries between Sydney to Melbourne or Sydney to Brisbane or something. So yeah, it's cool though. I think people are in general friendly, good people, and I think we had a very strong British influence initially, but then been very influenced by American culture. And actually, for me, I was really influenced because I loved R&B and hip hop before it became pop. I loved basketball and baseball, and so I was like pretty influenced myself by US culture, um, which wasn't necessarily the norm. Like there's that probably a lot of people were more into the Australian rock and things like that. But yeah, so for me, I think it's funny because Sydney is home and it's a great city. However, for many years I didn't want to be here. It's only even before 2020, I every winter I would go to Hawaii or somewhere warm because I find Sydney winter quite cold because we're not set up for cold weather. We don't have central heating. We don't have that kind of thing. So um, yeah, for me, but I think since 2020, I don't know, I've just kind of dropped in. I did test out last year in 2023. I went to Hawaii and really got that feeling of, I still love it. I still want to visit, but I don't have a call to try and live there right now. Sorry.
Hmm.
Um, so that was sad, but good to have the clarity.
Yeah, for
And then, and yeah, it feels like, I don't know if I'll be, I may, it'll always be home. Let's say that it'll always be home because it's my town, my city with lots of family and friends. And even if I live somewhere else, Sydney will still be home, even though if I could create homes in other places, which I do think would be fun, living somewhere that I can immerse myself in learning Spanish or Italian, or I don't know. There's lots of little ideas I have still to, explore this lifetime.
oh, beautiful. Did you have um did you have special dreams as a child of what you wanted to do when you grew up? Did you have visions
An
like that?
interesting question. One of the things that I feel is a have room for opportunity and room for improvement is my memory. I really
Well, it's really
and
interesting because our body, like when we have like, we'll just say memory loss. Let's because I have the same thing. It's like when we have traumatic situations or situations that we don't know what to deal with. A lot of the time, the brain will just wipe because it's protecting us from going to those memories. So there are
mm,
massive parts of my childhood that I don't remember.
yeah, I think it's an interesting one. Mm. So in terms of the question of did I have big dream, I don't recall anything specific apart from I know I wanted life to be fun and I like to laugh and play, be playful, and I always was very attracted to that. But in terms of the big dream, probably not. And even at school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't, some people are very clear, and I definitely didn't have that.
Me neither.
And then I think about, well, I became a coach, and that didn't even really exist when I was at school.
Right? Exactly. But it was stressful. I mean, that was stressful for me, when they would ask, like, "What do you wanna be when you grow up?" I'm like, "Don't
Happy.
know." And right? I know, my friends would be like, "Well, I'm gonna be a lawyer, and I'm gonna be a veterinarian." I'm like, "You're 8." Like
It's cute though when people think they were, and they can try it on. I think that I've been one of those people that sort of can see both sides of different things and sort of more neutral than a very opinionated person. So I think the people that can kind of go and claim something and make a decision is it's a powerful gift.
right?
The we our greatest strengths can be our greatest weaknesses, though, either in all ways. So the thing I did notice is when I like my working career, I worked in many different jobs. I worked like I actually can't count how many jobs
But we have a lot in common.
And what I did notice early on was actually I was learning different things from each different work environment, which I thought was quite powerful. It wasn't looked upon well back then, in terms of back then you stay in something and you stick with it, and that was kind of valued. And
Mhm,
there's much about, I know a lot of people have been in their company for a long time, and there's some real benefits to that, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just something that didn't wasn't my path. But what was something I noticed was the value I got from having different experiences like that actually also gave me a lot of experience and wisdom that was valuable. And it's nice to see that's a little bit more valued now than what it was. Like it's funny. I feel like I'm sometimes that little bit ahead of where a lot of the world is, because I feel like I seem to just find out about things early and I adopt things for not everything, but I do. Because I'm not a huge researcher. I'm an intuitive person that kind of gets a feeling and jumps in quickly.
mm,
I can sometimes be kind of into things kind of quick. So for example, here, I use the example, I was into R&B and hip hop before it actually became pop. Like when we were listening to it, it was quite underground. And then even things like Pale, I was into before people had really heard about it here. And yeah, I don't know, just different things is kind of really interesting. I think both you and I are into very leading edge stuff around health and wellness and stuff like that. So we get exposed to things very early on, and that's exciting. Embrace them quickly, mainly. I mean, not everything, but it's good.
yeah. So,
Mm.
when you had that experience with, you know, putting your arms around your dad's leg, like, "Don't go to work, like, let's play." How did that affect your relationship with money? Because I mean, did it? Because, I remember a similar kind of thing, like, they're just going to get money. They're going to this job. A lot of them don't even like the jobs. When I was looking around at people, I'm like, they're just doing a job because they need a job. Like, this is like a nightmare for me. Like, I don't want this to be my life.
Yeah, I definitely feel there was probably a few key things that influenced my relationship with money in a non-healthy way,
Mm,
or not a way that I I would like I where I've blocked it. I've kind of made stuff mean stuff about money and me, and kind of not wanting it or something, or not allowing it. That has been something that I think that that was a moment that I'm sure was an impactful moment.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a it's an interesting thing because, as you know, it's just energy, and I think what I'm passionate about now is just being an energy master. I think that that's an exciting thing that we all have the opportunity to be, because everything is energy. We're energy, and
Mhm.
what if we play with it in that way? And so I guess the blessing of having the challenges and then going through the different journeys of kind of learning about it puts me in a great place now. And I think that's why I said it feels like the whole full circle of what I truly want, to really be happy, to really love myself, to really be a contribution of spreading love and well-being, and being a light. That I'm allowing myself to be now, which is a beautiful thing. And maybe it needed that like I really trust in the perfection of it all. It needed all of those experiences that I maybe judged as not good, or whatever I judged them as, or that I'm not enough, or all the things. But it also helped shape um, my focus now, and I just feel really, I feel so appreciative right this moment of how magical everything is, and that we really do have so much potential to tap into, and so much magic available in every moment. And whatever has happened in the past doesn't actually really matter. And so we can really choose now. Um, we can choose now. How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel right now, Lisa?
Exactly. Ah, just open and free and filled with love and joy and the wonder of life. Mhm. That is that is where I'm at these days. I want to I want to feel that original divine design where we are part of all life and have have the ability to appreciate all life and life on this planet.
And that, I think, is absolutely what I'm so aligned with that. I feel it's such a beautiful way to live, in appreciation of it all.
Right?
Like I really feel when I am judging things, that's when I'm creating suffering for myself. When I'm making things mean, things that don't feel good, I'm creating the suffering for myself. Like, we make it all up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been shown to us since we were children. It's been taught to us. You know, we've been taught to expect suffering, expect it's going to be hard work. You know, money doesn't grow on trees. You know, like you got to toughen up. You know, all of these things that they're not true, but we've been taught these things, so we pick up these patterns because why would we believe otherwise if our parents are telling us, the teachers are telling us, the government is telling us, well, this is the way it is. Wow.
It's very strong conditioning, and it is very strong conditioning. And that's probably why I had the little rebel in me that go, no, I don't like that. And then I kind of had the experience of not having money, and not letting myself have it, and not really appreciating it or respecting it. So not having a good relationship with it kept it away. And it's like I'm still building that relationship to be more healthy. Um, it's a it's an ongoing choice. For me, it's quite a, for some people, they've got other classrooms that are their big ones in their lifetime. Their money is not one of them. Whereas for me, money's a big one for me.
Hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's yeah, go ahead.
keep going.
Well, so something you said before just sparked something, but keep talking because it'll come back. It
Oh,
was like,
so when you were really young, do you remember like having inner knowing that like something's a little weird around here, or
yeah, I remember having some very key experiences where I really, it's like I got that awareness of my intuition was so right. I didn't have the word intuition, but it was like, I know that. Like I just knew it was so strong. And that was super interesting because then, as I said, I sort of probably ignored it then for many years until I started really going, I really want to be connected to it and been on my big development journey. But yeah, I questioned everything. Like I didn't like I said, I didn't like the routine of get up, go to work, come home. I didn't like anything that wasn't fun. I didn't I went to church when I was young and went, this is boring, and why are there wars where these religious people are fighting each other? Like it doesn't make sense to me. It was hypocritical to me. So I there was a phase where I went completely atheist and then have come back to having a connection with source, divine, God, whatever you want to call it, the universe. um so being okay with being spiritual without needing to be religious,
exactly.
because realizing the fundamental core values of most religions is pretty much the same, pretty much love, pretty much as um,
Yeah.
but in terms of their eh, the way they're living it is having all these rules that don't make sense to me. So um, actually, I think it was the book Conversations with God that helped me see a different perspective with that. I don't know if you've read that with
Mhm.
Neil
Yeah,
Donald
Neil
Walsh, but
Donald Walsh.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think I was always sort of I didn't fit into the norm of what society said, and then always did the unconventional kind of jobs and lifestyle, and even now have done that. And what that has required is for me to create my own definition of success, because I I was judging myself on a definition of success that my parents or society would have, which I was not living up to. I did not have the big successful job and money and house and cars and husband and kids and all the things that sort of the successful life
Mhm.
is painted as.
Right.
Um, but yeah, finding my own definition was very powerful. And I think everyone would benefit from connecting with what they really, really see for themselves is a successful life, so that they can choose to create that rather than just trying to judge themselves against something that's not even important to them, or striving for a life that doesn't end up making them happy. Because I think that's the other thing I notice. I'm like, wow, all these people are going to work and working hard. And I mean, how many people are living in these very big, expensive houses, but they're not even really in, well, they're in them more now because people work from home, but they're all going off in traffic to work hard to try to make the money to pay for the things. And it's like that old, beautiful story of the fisherman who was just chilling, enjoying catching the fish on the beautiful beach, and then this businessman comes along and go, oh, you could catch more fish and then make more money and get more boats and make more, get more fish and and the fisherman's like, for what? And so, well, so you can relax and enjoy your life. It's like, I'm already doing that, right? Like, um, so we have this wacky kind of, like you said, it comes back to the conditioning of what you're supposed to do. And I'm very grateful that I just never bought I haven't bought into a lot of it. I mean, I've probably bought into some of it, quite a bit of it, because of some of the conditioning is not conscious, but
Yeah, so you
um,
can't
like
escape
I'm
it.
not present to all of it, but I definitely in general have co- challenged a lot of it and questioned a lot of it and chosen differently
Mm.
um, in many ways. So yeah,
So how did your parents do with those with your decisions? Were were they on
I'm
board and
sure I've
supportive, or were they like, "What is going on with her?"
very supportive. I'm sure they've questioned, they don't understand it, questioned a lot of my decisions, would probably prefer I've chosen differently in many cases. But the nice thing about them is they love me unconditionally and really support me, which I'm so great and so lucky to have.
Yeah,
Um, because I know that my mum has laughed about where she's wanted to train me to think for myself, right? But the real challenge is when I think for myself and it's not like her, how hard that's been.
I love it.
Mhm. Yeah, but yeah, I feel very lucky. I am very blessed with a beautiful family who have been amazing, and yeah, I know not everyone has that, so I'm very, very grateful. Mhm.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, that's unfortunately, that's not always the norm these days, and it's very difficult to be in that family in that house where there's, like, this tension, everything on the surface looks fine, but then, there's, like, going on in the background, it's like, "Ooh."
Yeah, and even in the families that are great, there's still challenges. Like it's not like it, we're all as humans. I think we're here. We make stuff mean stuff, even if other people haven't meant it in that way. It's like our own little soul human decides to make stuff mean stuff that creates all this kind of interesting extra
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, so it's funny. You could grow up in the worst of environment or the best of environment, and you're still going to have stuff.
absolutely. Yep. We really can't escape it the way the world is set up these days, for sure.
And the funny thing is, even the best of environment, worst of environment is still a label we're giving it, right? So it's still a judgment because actually there's no good or bad, right or wrong. We label that, we make that up as well. So I get excited with the thought of transcending judgment because it it it's so freaking peaceful to just be with now and what is without needing to make it judge it in a harsh way.
Right? Yes. Yeah. I remember being 2 years old and going to bed at night and just being part of this incredible unified field of unconditional love. It was just all love and light. And there, I looked around, it was like, there is no judgment here whatsoever. So, whatever those people down there on that planet are talking about, some judgment day, it ain't happening. That's not what's going on here. And it was really confusing for me to know that this space of unconditional love really is what's eternal, that it's always and forever. And then to come back into my body going, wow. Oh, that is not what's going on down here. It was pretty traumatic for me.
It's so like on it's so beautiful you had that experience, but yes, the contrast is harsh and traumatic. And yeah, well, I what I'm grateful for is that you found a way through to really reconnect with that and share that with your clients and community to remind them of the truth of that. And I think even though that what you had the trauma to get to here, um, it's such a blessing that you like there's such a knowing, and even when you talk about it, it's just such a beautiful feeling that I get hearing it. It's like, oh, it's just great. Such a cool thing.
Right? It's everywhere. It's all around us. And it's just the ability to tune in to the subtle energies and to notice, like to allow yourself to go there in your awareness. And like it feels, because we've all been taught that, oh, that's just your imagination. That doesn't mean anything. Well, no, your imagination, like, is your awareness. Like, whatever you're imagining, whatever you're thinking is what you're placing your awareness on. And it's like if you intentionally place your awareness, then you can become aware of so much beauty, so much joy, so much love, so much abundance, so much good fortune. Like we are all so loved and so provided for. But we have to be able to let go of all of that conditioning where we've been taught to expect the worst, wait for the other shoe to drop. Oh, just wait till you get older. It's like, ooh,
It's such a it really takes a conscious choice to be mindful where we focus, so that we can focus on what we want more of. Like that's like you say, it's available every moment for us right now, right here, and we can choose to allow ourselves to connect with it and see it and feel it, or we can choose to focus on something that feels like crap. That's a
that
choice. That's the power. Like, I mean, that how powerful we are.
it's amazing, right? It's like, and then we realize, like, oh, well, that's probably why we've all been conditioned to give away our power so that other people could stay in power and we would be powerless when they are powerful. And, it's really the other way around. Like, we are always powerful.
Yes, it's almost like we cannot be reminded enough of that, because
Mm.
the world is bombarding with messages of not enoughness, of scarcity, of lack, of fear, of all the things that it's quite relentless and very, very influential. And so it does take something to keep coming back to the truth and connecting in with beautiful people like yourself, and communities of like-minded, like-hearted people that can be uplifting and loving and supportive and great reminders and influences into focusing on the right stuff, really.
Exactly. Amazing. And I'm so glad that you have tapped into your happiness. I mean, you spread happiness wherever you go. I mean, it's always a happy day when I get to talk to Deb. And I've never seen you in a, in a funk, or, like we all have like little, dips and,
It happens.
just, not that you're never there, but like I never see that. And, there's always that genuine happiness, that genuine caring, that genuine sharing. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's always lovely to have that reflected, in terms of that would definitely be an intention. And yeah, it's not that I don't have my non high vibe moments. And I've learned not to judge myself in that too, because I am human. We're all human, and it's a funny one with the happiness inquiry, because it started with me just being quite positive, and with even in the early few years of coaching, it was all about reframing, but I was still in my head, and energy doesn't lie. So the feeling of still the non-alignment with the feelings, and the head stuff was still there. um and so it's actually more powerful to feel what's feeling in the moment. I was petrified of feeling anything negative. So feeling the feelings, being okay to feel it, knowing that it will pass, rather than I probably thought I'd get stuck there or something. I don't
Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's
realize
when we don't
it,
allow ourselves to feel, we shove it all down and then it gets stuck in there.
yeah, the feelings, knowing it's actually energy, emotion, energy in motion. It's okay. It's going to pass through. And when we allow ourselves to feel it fully, actually on the other side of that is usually a peace, a kind of a, it's, it, it's not when we really allow it to pass through it, we can notice it, observe it, rather than suffer it. Like we don't have to bathe in it, we don't have to kind of live in it and stay in it forever, if we really allow ourselves just to let it feel. And that was something very powerful for me to learn, and still it's an ongoing practice to keep doing that, rather than the old pattern of just not feeling and just keep moving on or put a positive spin on it or whatever. It's like that's not actually true happiness. that's a, that's a I guess where happiness gets a bad rap, where people think it's a Pollyanna thing.
Mm,
um it's sort of, there's so much depth. I guess any topic has so much depth, and there is a depth to genuine happiness that is quite beautiful. And different words get thrown around. I mean, the funny thing is, when I first did my very first life coaching course, I had to do an assignment, wanted to use the word happiness, and they made me use the word fulfillment. Because back then,
cool.
happiness wasn't even a word you talked about that much.
Wow, how wild.
I know. So a lot's happened in 20 years. Luckily, happiness is talked about and embraced, and much more in our society, thank goodness. Um, but yeah, so it's interesting because it's, I guess, certain things are hard to put words on. And yeah, maybe there's some new words to be created around happiness and joy and truly feeling, all the levels. Actually, I think the Greeks have a number of words they have for different types of love. Um, I must look into which language is really nailing the most words for these types of topics.
Right? Like the Eskimos have however many words for snow, right? It's like, who has the most words for happiness? I love it. So how did you discover your love for coaching?
I It's funny. It had, before I came back to Australia to do the life coaching course, it had come into my awareness a couple of times. I'd met maybe a couple of people involved in it, and it just, there was this buzz within me that was going, "Oh, I'm really interested in that somehow." And then decided to do this course. I actually realized I don't think I had even been coached before, but as soon as I did that course, I was so in love with it. I absolutely love, I always, even when I was working, I was a manager in nightclubs. Before a manager, I was a bouncer, but when I was a manager, I actually really liked training the team to do things better. So it was like there's always this kind of in me, and I was always, people would talk to me about stuff. So I was a listener. I was kind of that person that had a positive spin on things. So it's kind of, as a natural coach to a degree, but when I did the training, that's when I really realized what active listening is. I thought I was a good listener, but wow, I was still someone who was waiting for my turn to speak. I wasn't necessarily really able to, like, I've developed that ability to truly listen actively, and how powerful that gift is when we do that for someone, asking really empowering questions. And I don't know, I just loved it so much. When I first learned, I was learning a framework called the Grow model. And then after that, went and learned a whole lot of stuff in coaching and different healing modalities and all sorts of stuff. But I love it. I think probably because I'm good at it is one reason.
Hard,
I
yeah.
love it. I love it because I do love supporting people and focusing on the positive rather than, it's sort of it is a positive momentum forward type conversation versus a boring conversation. Um, and I love it because I get to listen and ask questions. I don't have to know the answers and I don't have to remember much because I'm not really.
Love
So
it.
I'm a great coach, very confidential because what you tell me is probably going to.
I love that. You have no idea how much comfort that gives me.
People have told me so much stuff. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you the detail. If someone like held a gun at my head, I'd be like, "I'm sorry, I got nothing."
Right? Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah. But I love now coaching coaches and healers and well-being leaders and practitioners and people who are subject matter experts because one, love coaching intuitive people, creative people, people who also have a calling and a desire to, like, we've got a lot of alignment in how we feel, like someone like yourself who's got such freaking awesome wisdom that needs to get out to the world, like that excites me. Um, and I love also that we, like, what I've learned from Gabby and what we've created together is so hmm, what I needed through my career. And there's so many coaches, if I call everyone just a coach for now, that loves helping people. There's so many coaches that are not creating a thriving business the way they want, and they haven't been taught some stuff that is what Gabby showed me, that I went, oh my God, I wish I knew this my whole career. We've got to get this out to the world because no one teaches this. Like, and we've just honed it over the last few years where it's just such a powerful model now. So I'm really excited to share that with more people and have more coaches thriving so they can help more people and get their message out to the world. Like, really, your message should be the core message if someone's not well or not feeling good, rather than going to a doctor, come to Lisa. Like, really. Uh-huh. And I know you're kind of moving more into even more exciting consciousness stuff as well, but um just that whole, there's other choice. If we have a dis-ease in our body, there are other choices than what has been society's conditioning in the path you go. And I would love to see more people like yourself and Deanna and other amazing practitioners that just know how to help people transform stuff, um, doing that with more people. So that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah. The two of you are such a great team, and you have such great wisdom to share. You've helped me tremendously in the past. I've watched you help other coaches, and it's really quite spectacular. So if there are any coaches out there that are looking to start a new business or increase their current business, please reach out to Deb and Gabby. They can do wonders with you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. I feel it's funny. I it's like I know that even more than ever before. It's we have a, in our model now, we have a power skill called value embodiment. And it's like, oh, I am really feeling, I am embodying the value that we bring on a whole new level than ever before now. And that's really exciting, because too many, particularly women, particularly 40 plus, 50 plus, we've got so much wisdom. And for some reason, the conditioning and all the things, we've kind of doubted ourselves and not fully expressed it and not really got it out there in the way that the world needs. And it's time. And so that excites me as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's sometimes it even in this day and age, in the social media network, it's often hard to get the messages out there that are not the mainstream messages. They get, oh, we'll just push this message over here because we don't want people to see that message. We want them to see this message.
That's yeah, there's a lot a lot of when it comes to media, very interesting things going on. It's yeah, let's just say interesting for now. But yes, the opportunity is for those of us who do have wisdom to share, a calling to uplift others and bring their special genius to supporting other people. I think there's such an opportunity for us to come together, collaborate, continue to support each other and allow ourselves to receive the support we need to really shine and really allow ourselves to have the business and life that we our heart truly desires, like that is available, and it's not probably going to look exactly the way we think, but it's going to be a magical adventure.
Absolutely. And that's why we're all here, is to have a magical adventure on this gorgeous planet. So let's start spreading happiness. Let's find the things that light up our soul. And let's all gather together in community and support each other and lift each other up. I love that. Deb and Gabby. So coachtrainingcampus.com, I presume.
That's where we're at.
Beautiful. So yeah, please reach out to Deb and Gabby if you are looking to start a new business or up your current business because they really know their stuff and they're super fun. Fun and
Thank
profitable. We love that. Deb,
got to
this has
have.
been so great.
Oh, it's so great. Thank you so much for giving me the space to just go. "Bleh." Normally, I wouldn't even like talk as long before drawing breath and allowing you to talk. So it was like, oh, I'm going to just blurt out a big chunk of my story. So thank you.
Yes, you are welcome. Oh my gosh, my pleasure. I love hearing everybody's story and we're all so unique, but there's so much commonality between everybody. And when we just start to listen to each other's stories, we start to realize that we are far more similar than we are different. So I love sharing the stories.
Mm, beautiful. We all have beautiful hearts and a lot of love to give. And let's just open our hearts that little bit more and send out some more love for ourselves and each other.
Exactly. Well said. Deb, thank you so much. So is that the best place for people to reach you? Is it coachtrainingcampus.com?
That's a great place to reach me. I have also got that little QR code there. If anyone wants to scan it, that will take you to a link tree with a whole bunch of links to check out. But coachtrainingcampus.com is an easy place to find us. We have some free resources on there. We have our online pre-recorded training. We have our memberships. We're really building that out to be an amazing hub that can offer support for anyone wherever they're at in terms of their ability to invest in themselves from zero to the big fast track. So it's exciting.
Oh, beautiful. Congratulations on that. That's amazing.
Thank, thank you.
Great.
And so lovely to see you just continue to shine and do amazing things in the world. And I just support you in everything. I adore you and I think you're amazing. And I know you're amazing. And I'm so excited to continue to see you shine.
Aw, thank you so much. I love that. Thank you. Such an honor. All right. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for another Soul Stories. Every soul has a story. Make yours the best story ever because you can. So, until next time, tell a great story. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to this episode of Connecting You to You Radio. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Are you ready to discover more about how simple healing your body can actually be when you do it from the higher wisdom of your soul? To learn more about what I do and how you can work with me, visit connectingyoutoyou.com and get on my mailing list to be the first to know about my latest offerings. If you'd like to interact with me on Facebook, please join my group, Soul Sourced Healing. Check the show notes below for these links and more. I hope to see you again next time on Connecting You to You Radio.